For many Jurassic fans, collecting toys and action figures is a huge part of the fandom. That being said, I'm a huge Jurassic fan, yet I haven't had many toys from the franchise over the years. Over the past couple of months, I've been trying to make a greater effort to research Jurassic toys, acquire them, and to talk about them on the channel. And today, I am extremely excited to talk about a Jurassic toy from the Hammond collection. Now, the Hammond collection was first released in 2022, and it is described as a line of toys that celebrates the thrills and adventure of the entire Jurassic World franchise, and it aims to set a new high-quality standard for dinosaur collectibles. Now, in my experience, the Hammond collection has been fairly celebrated online since its release, but I've seen few talked about more than the one I have for you today. So in today's video, I'll be unboxing and talking about the Hammond collection Tyrannosaurus Rex.
Stars and Stripes!
Hello and welcome to another Carrots Scraps video, and by another, I mean the 143rd. Now, of course, as usual, I wanted to give a couple of disclaimers up front before we get into the video. As I mentioned at the start of the video, I am still really new to the world of collectible toys, specifically when it comes to the world of Jurassic toys. And I know for a fact that there are other collectors and fans who know way more about this stuff than I do. So keep in mind that I'm making this video for fun and because I really enjoy this world of toys that I'm entering, but that I might get some details wrong about the toys or that I might not show exactly what you want to see. And by all means, if you have any comments or criticisms, if there are details about the toys that you'd like to see closer in future videos, let me know in the comments below. Because I'm still new to the world of toy collectibles, I typically collect comic books, and the many toys that I have collected, I typically keep in the box. So I'm not used to taking them out of the box and seeing them firsthand. Anyway, with that disclaimer out of the way, let's unbox the Hammond Collection T-Rex. Now, before we get into the figure itself, let's talk a little bit about the packaging, and the Hammond Collection packaging is pretty beautiful, I gotta admit. It definitely strikes you immediately. You know what it is when you're looking at it. There's no confusion over what toy line this comes from. I really like the Hammond Collection logo. I think that looks really cool. I like the all-black case, and then the kind of, just the silhouette of the classic T-Rex skeleton. It reminds me a lot of, like, higher quality Star Wars toys, and I definitely think that there's a level of prestige that comes from the packaging. I will say that I wish I saw a little bit more of the figure itself in the packaging. I wish I could see that a little bit clearer. It seems like a lot of the box is taken up by just negative black space. So I'm not the biggest fan of that, but also on the flip side of that, there's something really cool about just seeing the face of a T-Rex next to the logo of Jurassic Park that's just the skeleton of a T-Rex. There's something really cool for this package specifically that puts those images side by side that I really love. And then of course you get a really nice image on the side of the box, and the back gives you a really great view of this particular figure with a still from the movie, which is awesome. Now, when it comes to unboxing this thing, it was fairly easy to unbox. I didn't really have many issues. I feel like this was easier to unbox than my previous Jurassic toy from the Jurassic World Dominion line. It just has similar plastic strings holding it together that I used a serrated knife to cut, and then there was something new, which was almost like a rope holding the foot in place. I suppose that was to not damage the toy, and that was fairly easy to undo as well. I just kind of untied it, or I loosened it, and then I pulled it out, and I had this T-Rex out of the box pretty quickly. And then the tail was something that I needed to attach, which is something that I'm learning is probably pretty common for these dinosaur action figures. This is the second dinosaur action figure that I've gotten from a Jurassic Park toy or a Jurassic World toy where I've had to attach the tail specifically. So I have to imagine that this is pretty common, and it's almost the exact same tail engaging mechanic that I've had previously. I don't know if you can take this out, and I didn't try, but once you put it in, it's pretty secure, and it feels pretty great. It definitely works as a tail, when I see the tail detached, there's a part of me that wonders if that's gonna make it less of less of a good toy. Like if it's gonna, operate that part of the toy less good, it's going to be less good from that perspective. But no, it works really well. It almost feels like it came straight from the manufacturer like that. So no notes there. I really like the way that the toy looks after you put the tail in, and taking it out of the box is perfectly fine. No hiccups, and not too complicated. So with that out of the way, let's finally talk about my opinions on the Hammond Collection Tyrannosaurus Rex. All right, I don't know how to start this, but let's just get this out of the way. I absolutely love this figure. I don't know how to build up to that. I just think that this is an incredible toy. I think it's an incredible action figure. It's potentially one of the best action figures I've ever held. I just think it's a combination of so many things that I love about toys and action figures, and I just think it does so many things well. I haven't had many Jurassic figures. I've had, various other Jurassic merchandise in the past, but you've already heard I don't have many Jurassic figures to kind of look back on, and yet this is already the gold standard for me. There's just so much about this particular toy that I think is done incredibly well, and I'm just so happy to have it. It's funny, I've been eyeballing the Giganotosaurus from the Jurassic World toy line, and I was lucky enough to get this particular Hammond Collection T-Rex as a surprise for my birthday. My partner surprised me with my birthday gifts early this weekend. My birthday is on Wednesday this week, and I was very excited to get this because this wasn't a figure that I was necessarily asking for. It's one that I absolutely love and I'm excited about, but they kind of surprised me with this, so I'm very happy about it, and my expectations are just blown completely out of the water. Even though I still want that Giganotosaurus, I feel like this is still going to be way better. And I mean, I guess rightfully so, right? It's called the Hammond Collection Tyrannosaurus. I've been seeing these Hammond Collection toys around. I've been hearing people talk about them, and the title demands a certain amount of respect, right? And when I looked up what the kind of goal of the Hammond Collection was, it does the same thing. It lets you know that these are meant to be a higher quality standard, and I was a little on the fence. I don't know. I was a little worried that that was just marketing talk, and I am very happy to say that I was surprised. This T-Rex really follows through. It really lives up to the hype, and I can't recommend it enough. If you have the available funds, definitely check it out. Some of the stuff that I really like about it is the paint job. I think the paint job looks absolutely beautiful. I think sometimes the original Jurassic Park 93 T-Rex, the original Rexy, they tend to look a little odd when it comes to other media. I feel like other media depicting this T-Rex, it's like they forget how to paint her or paint her a little bit differently, and so I'm always like 50-50 on whether I'm going to enjoy the way the original 93 Rex is going to look. Sometimes I think the Lost World Rex is depicted better between different medias and different mediums than the 93 T-Rex, and I gotta say that this figure is painted really well. I feel like she really looks like the T-Rex from the film, and I just think that she looks gorgeous. And like, I talked a little bit about the Claire Deering action figure from my previous unboxing video, and how Claire, I mean, she looks like a redheaded woman, you know what I mean? She doesn't necessarily look like Bryce Dallas Howard, she doesn't necessarily look like Claire, but to me that wasn't super important. However, for whatever reason, and I'm sure this is why a lot of people collect dinosaur toys, for whatever reason I feel like the accuracy for the toys of dinosaurs compared to their film counterparts is way more important than the people, and I just feel like there is almost a one-to-one parallel here when it comes to comparison on the quality of its appearance. It really does look like the dinosaur from the film, and I think if they looked less like the dinosaur from the film for something called the Hammond Collection, I would be more disappointed, but they totally did it spot on. It looks fantastic. Something else I really love about this figure is the texture. I love the way the skin feels. I just think that it feels really high quality. It feels like a fantastic... it feels like I'm touching a dinosaur a little bit. It's pretty awesome. I don't want to take unnecessary shots at the Jurassic Saga collection, the Ultimate Collection, that I unboxed on the channel a couple of months ago, that I thought was okay. I didn't love it, but oh my goodness, the Blue and Beta figures, or it's a statue. It's titled a statue, right? That statue looks so much less good than this action figure. It kind of blows me away, the difference in quality here, and how I would rather display this T-Rex than that Jurassic Saga statue. And I think that says a lot, and I feel like that should inform whether you pick this up or not. There are a number of changes in texture when it comes to the material that they used on the T-Rex in various areas. For example, around the neck, there's like a softer area, and I think that's to help the head move back and forth and up and down a little bit better. And then the kind of mouth cheek flaps between the jaws, in addition to the tongue, all of that is this more rubbery texture that's similar to the neck. I believe the tail is a little rubbery as well, and I like these little pieces. I think on certain toys they might be a little odd, they might like stick out a little bit too much, but I think here they've done a good job at integrating them, and they mesh well. It doesn't feel odd, it actually just feels cool to open the mouth and see these different types of material used for the mouth. Let's talk about joints really quickly. Joints are a really important part of action figures to me. I don't know a lot about action figures, but one of the big things that I've always cared about when it came to owning action figures as a kid and looking at them as an adult is joint control and how many joint options that you have. And I think this T-Rex has incredible joint options for you, specifically when it comes to the head, the head extending to the jaw, the head extending to the neck. The neck is incredible, getting to move in so many different directions and pose in so many different directions, and having it be so flexible, but also having it be able to just stay where you put it, is so delightful. It's such a posable figure. And that makes me so happy. It's posable in the way that you can pose it in a lot of different ways and then place it on a desk and it'll stay like that, And I think that's also really important to me when it comes to joint control. But then the mouth has so many different options too. The tongue has so many different options. You can keep the mouth closed, which looks beautiful. You can have it half open, and then you can have it all the way open as if, Rexy is roaring to the skies and their tongue can be at the center of their mouth. I feel like those options are something that I was really surprised by. I was not expecting it to have so many options there, and it really did impress me. And then when it comes to the legs, I feel like the legs also have just an incredible amount of joint control, especially when it comes to the hips. I think the hips giving you the option to go wide outward or close together, kind of like a stance as if they're about to attack versus a stance as if they're walking, that is incredible, and it's so wonderful. I will say that the arms, they could be a little bit better, and I'm a little confused by the joints in the shoulders, I suppose you could call them, just because it looks like I can move them in certain directions, but it's so stiff that I can't, and I don't want to risk breaking it, so I decided not to test that, but it gets the job done. I was a little worried about that at first, but at the end of the day, it doesn't affect the overall look of the T-Rex. They still look really great. I guess the only note I would have other than those arms is that I would have liked the toes to kind of move if it was possible. Maybe put one foot back and kind of resting up, and then the other one flat on the ground. I think that would have been cool. But other than that, very little notes on this. This is an incredible figure when it comes to the joint control, and I just think that's so cool. And talking about the face and the head once again, I think it just looks beautiful. I think the likeness is incredible here. It really, really does look like the T-Rex from the movie. Again, more so than a lot of other media that I would hope would look more similar, but doesn't. But one of the biggest details about the face that I really love are the eyes. I think the eyes are really, really cool just on their own. I think they look really striking, and really incredible. They really do look right through you. But then something cool, and I've seen this in other figures before, and other things have had this effect, but the eyes follow you. Because of the way the eyes are made, it looks like the T-Rex is looking at you, depending on what angle you hold it at. And I just think that's such a cool addition to this action figure that, again, I was not expecting, and that I think is so incredibly cool. Now, when it comes to the price for this particular figure, it goes for about $53.99 USD. And obviously it's going to depend on the person on whether this is a good price for this toy. However, for me personally, and just how impressed I am by this action figure, I'm honestly not that bothered by the price. Obviously it's a lot of money, but there's a part of me that feels like this is almost like a statue purchase. This action figure is so high quality, both in its aesthetic and also its articulation, that the price kind of makes sense to me. Plus, you're buying into this Hammond collection, which to me already says that you're going to be buying something a little bit more expensive. So for me, it's the fact that this action figure is so high quality and one of the best action figures I've ever had that justifies the price. There are plenty of other action figures that I've picked up at a lower price where I felt like it was a little bit too much for me. And while this is definitely expensive because of how high quality it is, I just don't feel that much. So that's how I feel about the pricing of this toy. The last thing I wanted to mention when it comes to this particular figure was scale and how this T-Rex measured up to other people in the Jurassic toy line. So I have two figures here that are people. I have Claire Dearing from the Jurassic World Dominion toy line, and then I have Ellie Sattler from the Jurassic World, or rather the Hammond Collection toy line. And I obviously think that the Ellie Sattler is going to be more accurate to what this toy line is trying to have as a scale from dinosaur to person. However, comparing to Claire, I really feel like there's not much difference here. I feel like most people wouldn't notice that these two are from two separate toy lines from a height perspective and from a proportion perspective. I guess the only thing I would say is that Claire is a little taller than Ellie, but who knows? Maybe Bryce Dallas Howard is just taller than her. But anyway, talking about the scale of these two Hammond collection figures, you know, Ellie Sattler versus the Tyrannosaurus, the thing that comes to my mind when I'm thinking of scale of a person to a T-Rex would be Gennaro from Jurassic Park 93, and when he's eaten, I tend to think of that as like, this is the scale of what the size of this person would be. And I think that Ellie would fit in this T-Rex's mouth pretty fine, so I think the scale looks pretty good. Maybe you'll disagree with me, but I think that the scale is pretty fine from dinosaur to person, and I think that the, you know, other people that you have from other Jurassic toy lines would fit alongside this T-Rex pretty well, and I got to imagine that that's intentional, so I think that that's pretty good. Overall, I think this is an absolutely outstanding figure. Like I said, this is the gold standard for action figures for me, for Jurassic action figures for me. Moving forward, this is going to be what I judge every Jurassic figure on, and what I want from a Jurassic figure. And I think if I was going to give this a rating out of 20, which is a normal thing to do, everybody rates things out of 20, we all know this. If I was going to give the Hammond Collection T-Rex a score out of 20, I think I would give it a 19 out of 20. There's a part of me that wants to give it 18 just because there are certain details like the joints in the arms and the feet that I'm not the biggest fan of, but honestly that's not enough for me to lower it further. It's not perfect, but it's very, 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 very close, and I love it very dearly. I'm so excited to have this a part of my collection. It's definitely something that I wanted to get eventually, but not something that I expected to get so soon. It's such a wonderful birthday present. I'm so happy to have it, and I hope that by talking about it, that I helped you decide whether you wanted to pick this up for yourself or not. Anyway, that's going to do it for this video. I want to thank you so much for watching. If for some reason you enjoyed this video, don't forget to give it a like and to subscribe to my channel for more. As regular viewers know, I make a variety of content on my channel, and I'm always going to make the videos that I want to make. But if you see something you enjoy, make sure to let me know, and I'll try to prioritize that kind of content in the future. Over on Twitch, I typically play superhero games like Marvel's Avengers and Midnight Suns, but occasionally I'll play a horror game like Resident Evil. So if that sounds interesting to you at all, make sure to check out my Twitch channel, twitch.tv/carrotscraps. And all my other social media, Twitter, TikTok, and Instagram are at carrotscraps as well. So I want to thank you again so much for watching, and I'll see you soon. Anyway, that's going to do it for this video. I want to thank you so much for watching. If for some reason you enjoyed this video, don't forget to give it a like and to subscribe to my channel for more. As regular viewers know, I make a variety of content on the channel, and I'm always going to make the popcorn. What?